insurance.
Bianca trebuie să dea. Deci, Bianca...
Intrăm.
Hello and welcome to a new international edition of Xprimm Time for Business, a show produced by Xprimm. My name is Mihaela Cârcu and I'm a development director within Xprimm, and I would like to thank you also on behalf of my colleagues and especially of Daniela Ghețu for being today here with us. In our previous edition, we have met several insurance markets and top professionals of the insurance industry. Also, 2 weeks ago, we have offered you a snapshot of the Central and Eastern European insurance markets in the first half of the year, according to the findings of the latest edition of the Xprimm Insurance Report. This report is online now, and you can get your digital copy by visiting our portal xprimm.com. Before presenting you the topic and guest for today, I would like also to invite you next week to meet the Russian insurance market. Hope you'll be able to join us. Coming back to our current debate, today we will focus on a topic of large interest, motor insurance. Together with our guest, we will present an overview of the latest trends in this important line of business, especially for the Central and Eastern European markets. We'll also have an editorial premiere, Motor Insurance Report. But first of all, I would like to welcome our guest, Mr. Christopher Merle, who is Senior Solutions Manager for IMEA at Swiss Re, Mr. Berk Bacakolu, Chief Information Officer at SBM, Insurance Information and Monitor Center, Turkey, and Mr. Mădălin Roșu, President of Romanian Motor Insurance Bureau, and the member of the board of Omnia SIG, one of the biggest companies in Romania, and also part of Vienna Insurance Group. I would like to thank you all for being here with us, and let's start with the special moment of the editorial premiere, introducing you the 2020 edition of Motor Insurance Report, and I would like my colleagues to project the movie that will mark this launch.
Empty streets in the usually most crowded cities. One of the most striking images of the lockdown period. But what did they mean for the motor insurance industry? Fighting to maintain customers, financial impact, a more competitive market, or going digital at high speed to allow customers receive best possible services. In short, changes. The 2020 edition of the Motor Insurance Report highlights the motor insurance industry trends from the CEE, SEE, and CIS markets perspectives. Interviews, market analysis articles, statistical data for the full year 2019 and the first half of 2020, as well as a short tour in technology world. All condensed in the 48 pages waiting for you online. The report is available starting now in digital format on xprimm.com. Don't miss it!
Our new report on motor insurance is available on xprimm.com. Please feel free to enter the website and to get your free copy. I would also like to congratulate Daniela Ghețu and her dedicated team for working hard for these magazines. And now I would like to start this debate with focusing first of all on the topic of digitalization, because without any doubt, the last month produced a boost in this process for the insurance industry, and not only. But also the motor lines were probably the business sector for which this digitalization trend is the most visible. How much did the fast advancement in digitalization help the insurance business in the last month? And I would like Berk to answer our first question.
Hello, welcome all, by the way, first of all. Well, maybe the only advantage of this crisis is the acceleration of the digitization process. As you all know, for a typical insurance company, the main business is revolving around the policy creation, claims management, billing and collection. So the main concern and the main business is not the technology. And on the other hand, there are always new competitive threats, cost pressures, aging technology, and new online distribution channels pushing the businesses to make significant changes. Well, right now, as you know, coronavirus pandemic is added to these problems, which disrupt the business models fundamentally. It changed how we worked in our companies, like remote working. It changed how we interact with our customers. So those are the realities of the insurance companies are facing today. So according to a research, half of the insurance leaders think that in the near future, most existing insurers will not survive, at least in their current form. So digital transformation is a must to some extent. During pandemic, we see that maybe all of the plans of the companies are changed. We see that the new regulatory bodies also increase their activities and regulations on digital channels. The insurtechs, with their innovative products and services, have an accelerating effect on the digital transformation on both ends. What I mean by both ends is consumers' end and the insurance companies' end. And crises like COVID-19 create new needs that needs to be addressed. In this period of limited physical contact, it's not surprising that the insurance companies are also turning to digital channels. The market share of digital sales in total insurance industry in Turkey is about 1.5%. And it's predicted that this rate will increase rapidly and reach maybe 3 or 4 times in next 5 years. On the other hand, the variety of the products sold on digital platform is increasing day by day. While only MTPL or motor oil damage were sold in the past, today branches such as the National Catastrophe Insurance Pool and complementary health have also been included in the market. So the satisfaction of the users in purchasing from the digital channels is also at a high level. So in coming periods, we will see that the competition in the digital platform will definitely increase, and as well as the number of companies only on operating in digital will also increase. My first humble advice is to capitalize the power of technology to revisit your existing business models. Insurers that digitize their enterprises this way can replace slow, error-prone, and expensive processes with increased speed and accuracy. And my second advice will be to create new business models that have not done before and could not receive priority due to technical constraints. For the advices that I mentioned, your data on hand, should be analyzed deeply. If your data is not sufficient enough, it's necessary to enrich your data by creating different channels like mobile applications, web applications, etc., and obtain and get the behavior information of the customer. Also, you can use the public data outside or sharing data on the basis of microsegments with some banks or telecom operators. Also, another way to increase the volume of your data, which will make your business models more efficient. Well, to sum up, today insurance companies face a time of tremendous change thanks to the COVID-19 and the changing customer expectations. To meet these challenges, the insurance sector is turning to digital transformation. And it seems the digital transformation will continue to be a defining trend for over the next decade. Because, well, the digital transformation nearly improves all aspects of the value chain. Thank you.
Berk has offered us some useful insights and advices. What about you, Chris? How much do you think that technology will shape the future of motor insurance?
I mean, first to say a lot. That's the important thing. And I would like to follow Berk's comment as well that digitization will play an important role. And because personalization, so in every aspect in your life, people seek to be more treated personally in your shopping experience or claims handling. So having insurance, which exactly is fitted to your personal situation, your car, XYZ, will get way more important than ever before. And technology can do this. But also think about, for example, green card. So basically traveling or driving abroad. So up to now, big data, for example, can demonstrate where those traffic streams go and map this together with claims. So this is something which you can do on a daily basis, but also shows which regions travel to what other countries' regions to really see, first of all, advertising, marketing, but also on the claim side where these traffic streams go. But also each car is different. So assessing each car's risks scenarios is important. So one thing, each car carries different helpers on board to be more safe, but it also differs on the same brand and model from year by year. So the year after, you might have the same car, but it has better helpers on board. And manufacturers as well, they want to sell, of course, these systems as well. So they have an interest to advertise as well that their car is getting more safer to sell new cars. So risk scoring for the cars becomes way more important, of course, and then you need big data, but not only for the cars, but also for drivers themselves. So each driver's behavior should be assessed as well. And this to combine basically will lead to a way better risk assessment, a personalization, and everyone basically is treated on its own merits. But don't forget something. For example, gamification. I mean, from apps we use on our phones, we know what gamification is basically. And combining this with user experience, you can get way more data out from the people, but they're willing to share it. This is also important.
Thank you very much for your insights, but let's come back to the last month, because 2020 has brought an unprecedented challenge for the economies worldwide. We had 2 months of lockdown and somehow empty roads, although in Romania it wasn't quite the case. In addition, all the car sales, which represent one of the main growth for the market, fell dramatically. Yet, as we can see from the first half results, things have seemed a little bit better than expected in the beginning of this period. How would you comment? And I would like to pass this question to Madeleine.
Good question. Do you hear me? It's okay, the sound?
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah,
yeah, okay. Because I had some interruptions on the way. So first, thank you, congratulations for the how should I say this online discussion, I would say, which is very good. On the other side, I must mention the same thing, that the period that we are currently facing actually will change everything in the future. Yeah, so my personal expectation is that the old past that we knew will not be anymore in the near future. Yeah, and I will start it from how the people will work. Yeah, this combination work from home, work from office, and so on in the insurance industry to the clients and to the technology, as my colleagues were already mentioning. So now coming back to the data and to the figures, I think that all the time, once we have new information on the table, how should I say, we can orientate for the next actions that we want to do. Back to your question, if you want to rephrase it one more time, because I said that in the last moment I didn't get it.
I was referring to the last month, where we had 2 months of lockdown and empty roads, and also the cars have sailed, but we can see that somehow the results for the first half of the year for the motor insurance in the CE region are somehow better than we expected in the beginning of the pandemic period. How would you comment the evolution for this period, and also if you have some projection for the next month?
Well, the question is, next month will be lockdown or not? Yeah, this is first question that we have to put. What we observed, okay, and now I will put it here in Romania. What we observed is that during the lockdown period, yes, the number of the cars on the street decreased significantly. Of course, we saw it also in the frequency. But on the other side, what it was interesting is that severity of the claims increased. Yeah. Okay, now we have probably more claims in reserve, so we will see later on how we will close it. But indeed, a slight positive effect was felt. If we look to the total figures on the combined ratio, I am not expecting that in MTPL in Romania we will see a huge improvement for the end of the year. Yeah, but these are, let's say, different reasons here. We know that we have the issue with the legislation and so on.
And because you mentioned the severity of the accidents, although their number might decrease a little bit, but the severity increased, I would like to point the attention of one of the industry's objectives, which is reducing the number of the accidents. And this can be made by awareness campaign. And I know that you have been part of many awareness campaign. I would like my colleagues to project one visual that we have on the screen. And if you would like to comment upon these awareness campaigns a little bit.
Yeah, campaigns are good. All the times it's good to communicate. Yeah, I remember this one. I have a sticker on my car also. What it's important actually here is that the people will understand how important it is to be, how should I say, to be careful when you drive. And careful means also to be awake, to be calm, to be, how should I say, sober, and so on, so on. So the list can be longer. But nevertheless, I want to mention something which I experienced on my skin. Is that in the last month I did a defensive course driving. I'll not say the name of the company, but it's very important to understand that even you are having the impression that you know how to drive a car. A car, it's a machine. So you are in the traffic, you are on the street, surprises can appear all the time. So it's very important to know how to handle in a specific situation. And this is somehow what we are lacking in this moment. Now the campaigns are good. We have to push more and more on any media channel that we can. We can discuss with the friends, with the relatives and so on to try to make it, how should I say, more, to increase the awareness, because it is clear that in this moment, again, in Romania, we have one of the biggest frequency in the Europe, which is not good. On the other side, how we can solve this with a better bonus-malus system, but this means that we have to go to the authority and to the legislative or to the parliament to change the legislation and consequently the norms of the ISF. And together with the campaigns, I think that we can achieve decreasing this frequency. And of course, what is the most important for us as a country is the number of deaths in accident. Because again, if the statistics, which I remember, are still valid, we are somehow #1 in Europe again on the fatalities. So basically, these campaigns are having two main roles. One, to how should I say, awaken the people the feeling that we need to be responsible once we are driving, and second, of course, on the decreasing on the frequency. It's really, really important. Yeah, we have to push much more on this.
Okay, yes, thank you very much. And indeed, we have to push in this direction in order to not have Romania as a champion of death on the roads. But coming back to the 2020 situation and a prognosis for next period, according to a Sigma report, we expect motor premiums to shrink by about 5% in mature markets, but only marginally in emerging markets. How can you comment, Christopher, on this situation, on this figure from the Sigma report?
I think one thing is important to say that although basically the traffic was reduced massively at the beginning of the pandemic, people now trying to avoid public transportation and also try to distance from each other. That meaning basically that made basically the traffic being a U-shape turning back. And it's correct that of course there is less traffic than before for sure. But it remains to be seen if the people who are currently driving on the road are the maybe less experienced, hence there could be the increase in frequency. But from the premium side, it's really, we need to see the entire year, and also if there is another lockdown, if people continue like avoiding public transportation or even buying more cars to, let's say, mitigate the situation going forward. So it really remains to be seen, and we need to analyze 2020 very careful when it's complete. It's very hard to make predictions right now when there are lockdowns coming up very soon.
Okay, yeah. Overcoming this crisis situation and hopefully this pandemic in the next year, digitalization was and will be a must for the insurance industry at any time. Yet sometimes it can be a costly process. But professional and market bodies may ease the adoption of digital solution that by offering access to tools that are already made. There are several examples in the region, and I think that SBM is one unique example in this direction, taking this activity to another level. So Berk, please can you tell us how can a market body like SBM help insurers' business?
Well, the short answer is in many ways. As Insurance Information Monitoring Center, we closely monitor the technological developments and deliver the new products and services to the market. You can think SBM as the ultimate insurtech, which the desired products and the services of the insurance companies are created. Well, think about tens of insurers trying to create more or less the same product. Think about all the redundant work all insurers are doing. It is a waste in a way. So these resources and budgets are not limitless. So, or you're an insurance company, let's say, which would like to use the sector data to make predictions to see what is ahead of you. But you have only your own data. What will you do? So body like SBM is a solution for all of this. As you might know, the SBM was established in 2003 by Republic of Turkey Ministry of Treasury and Finance. Our goal is to collecting the insurance sector data to a single center to provide reliable and meaningful information and statistics to ensure the sector is able to make healthy pricing. Let me give you an example. Annually, the transaction volume passes through SBM is 50 billion. So if I give you, it will be better if I give you some example projects that we are developing right now. One of the examples is claim inquiry service. The goal is to help the users to access the information of a vehicle without having to contact an agent or insurance company. With that project, it's initiated in cooperation with GSM operators. Users can send an SMS message to a short number to get the information of a vehicle, such as the claim history of that vehicle, vehicle details, the parts replaced based on the expert report, and the latest status of their accident report if they were involved in an accident. A couple of months ago, we enhanced this service using neurolinguistic programming, NLP. Our SMS channel receives millions of queries every month, and statistics show that 9 or 10% of among all car insurance and damage queries are bad or mistyped queries, which is approximately 100,000 monthly. Those queries cannot be replied with the desired information. As a solution, we analyzed the bad query patterns, implemented the intent classification NLP module. Now our software, the claim inquiry correction software, understands the intent of the client and processes the bad query and regenerate the good ones. The business impact was huge. The 98% of the bad queries are corrected. And as a result of that corrected queries, 85,000 customers are satisfied per month by providing the information that they needed. With this study, SPM was awarded in the Future of Work category. at the IDC CIO Awards 2020. And another project we are developing is fraud detection. All the insurance data is collected cumulatively, and we find organized frauds using machine learning technology. Then a criminal complaint is made on behalf of the insurance companies, and the task of coordination is undertaken on behalf of the sector. In MTPL, we have started to make predictive models using machine learning technology, which we have provided the business value since 2015. Now we are expanding the fraud calculations, first on fire branch and all other branches. Only in MTPL, we have detected 125,000 fraudulent files, and saved millions of Turkish liras. We have also S-Cloud project, SPM Cloud, S-Cloud, and it will be on production a couple of months later. In this platform, which is designed as a software as a service platform, both the insurance companies and the agencies will connect to SPM and use the different vendors' products in a pay-per-use manner. Another project that we are developing is a dashboard application we provide to the sector called Cockpit Dashboard. In this project, insurance companies can compare itself with the sector on periodic basis. There are hundreds of analytical reports in this portal. But as you know, sometimes users want more and it's not enough. So they want to create their own reports. We solve that need with the self-service reporting project, which is a reporting structure where users can retrieve their own reports by simply drag and dropping. And new projects are coming on 2021. Basically, we want to focus on the digital engineered underwriting, intelligent process automation, and UBI, usage-based insurance.
Thank you very much. And of course, a large article about the SBM activity can be read in motor insurance reports that we are launching today. And we invite you to read on our website. Now we will briefly change the topic to the changing mobility preferences, because we are now talking about electric cars, all sorts of electric bikes, scooters, and the Central and Eastern European insurers should deal with this change in the transportation means preferences. What are the challenges and what should we expect in the future in this field? Madeleine, if you can give us some insights.
It's interesting, I'd say. It's clear that the people want some alternatives to the classic transportation. As far as I know, there are some discussion at some working groups inside, even in the COB and also other forums for liability on these electric scooters, because they are becoming more and more dangerous on the streets. Yeah. And the question is how we should protect the victims in case of an accident with an electric scooters. Who should take it? How we will charge the premium, and so on, so on. There are multiple questions. And from my side, I don't know if we have a clear answer in this moment. What I can say immediately, very simple. In case of myself, I will need protection immediately as I will put the foot on a scooter, and I want to drive such a thing in the city. So it's clear that the need should exist also from the perception of the population that they need to protect the others, because an accident can happen anytime. Now, of course, is the role of the politicians and the regulators to create an elastic, requirement and legislation in order to have this kind of coverage mandatory. And from my point of view, it will just grow. It will just grow. The cities are, as we know, in a continuous movement, and the cars are totally blocking the street and so on. So you need a solution to drive from point A to point B, and this might be a solution. So I think the need of insurance should grow in the near future.
Thank you. Christopher, if you have some insights on this topic.
Yeah, I think the electric cars, like scooters, so the mobility space here, they also changed to offer sharing economy as well here. But the pandemic, for example, stalled this. So I think it remains to be seen what happens after, let's say, the pandemic, if this sharing economy has an impact on electric cars like scooters. But coming to electric cars and ownership of those ones, I mean, it's clear that electric cars are more expensive to repair because of their new, but they're in general more expensive. However, those cars tend to carry more driver assistance systems or ADAS systems on board, making cars safer than previous cars. For example, most of them, when you replace the car with electric car, it is the car itself is it's safer. And also, electric car drivers tend to drive more careful and slower. If this is because people tend to be older or because they feel more, let's say, relaxed and it's a nicer drive, remains to be seen. But right now, the buyers of those electric cars, which are expensive, are, let's say, from an older years. But the young drivers who drive faster, of course, when they be giving a Tesla, for example, they would drive fast. And this would be also impact basically the frequency as well. So I think it becomes very, very important to score the cars. So as I said before, what systems they have on board, but also, as I mentioned, score the drivers, because there will be drivers out there who drive electric cars with all the systems on board, very careful. And there will be, I call it the rogue drivers. You know, they use the 500 horsepower of a Tesla on the road, although they shouldn't. But this creates a higher risk than the same car in another hand. But it can be scored today with telematics, with everything. But also something which is interesting, the autopilot driving or the driverless driving basically becomes more and more common or available. And it also remains to be seen how basically drivers in the CE region are using this autopilot functions compared to, for example, the US or France, for example, which also becomes either a risk or a mitigation to risk. So this is something which we insurers have to always watch out. But the best factors basically to use and the best technology use right now is really scoring of the risk scoring of cars, risk scoring of drivers, and combining all the data in a personalized, let's say, risk assessment of your clients. And as a buyer of insurance, of course, I want to have something that fits to my driving behavior and to my car.
Thank you.
I have
Madeleine
an answer.
would like to comment.
No. I have an answer to Christopher's question. He said something about driving slowly. I think that I have the answer for this, why the people are driving slowly. Okay, it's a joke a little bit, but also part of the truth. You are driving slowly because you are afraid that the battery will run out. Yeah? So you need a longer range on electric car. Anyway, as soon as we will have a better infrastructure with recharging or the battery which will last longer, I think that the people will change again the behavior to driving faster. So we will see.
Okay, thank you, and nice joke. As I told you, our debate from today is live on YouTube. It's broadcasted on YouTube, and we encourage our viewers to put questions, to be part of a debate. And I have received already 2 questions from our viewers that I would like to share with you. One is for Berg. And it sounds like this. Would you say that such solution may improve the bottom results in motor insurance despite the decrease in volume of premiums? Market became more competitive and the pressure on prices is very high.
Well, premiums might come down. It can be done, but the main thing is to how can I say, make the process more efficient, and there will be competition, of course, everywhere, and the price will not be so much important. Actually, the quality of the service will be important. So I can say like that. Well, the prices might change, but because it depends on what you offer to your customers. But you should use the technological advancements and the new products and services for your products. I can say like that.
Thank you. One question, we have one question for Madeleine. What about green card? International traffic is obviously reduced. This situation impacted the activity on green card?
Well, I would say yes and no, because as we know, also during the emergency state, the lockdown, the transporters were quite, how should I say, traveling because of the transportation of necessary goods. Yeah, I mean, food and whatever top priority the countries needed. So basically, what we saw, it was a shift of the transport from the regular cars or the normal passenger cars to these transport carriers, and it was quite heavily. Indeed, the frequency dropped a bit as well on the external cases. But as I mentioned, we had a couple of severe accidents in several countries. So I would not say that it was a significant drop on the claim side in terms of frequency, indeed.
Okay, thank you. Another question. Hi everyone. One of the major problems, traffic-wise, pollution-wise, we have in big cities in the countries, like Bucharest, for instance, but I think in all big cities, is the number of cars in the streets. Any chance we see in the future a cooperation between municipalities and insurance industry to incentivize with bonuses the non-use of own cars for short distance or short time use, and have them properly parked in special parking places in buildings built in that purpose, like in US? I don't know who wants to try an answer to one of these questions. Maybe Christopher, you can.
I mean, it really honestly that depends also on the governments and how they see it. For example, I know in the US, you're right, they're building this special purpose car garages, for example, or it's quite actually easy to make sensors on the streets to see if there's parking space occupied or not. Although, for example, in Germany, the governments are trying to get rid of any car, also the share cars from the cities. So this is basically then you're left with no car. So it really depends if the governments want to support people driving cars, although not their own ones, so shared ones, because only 10% of the day the car is moving anyway. Or the governments want to restrict any car entering the roads. But technology-wise and from insurance perspective, it is definitely wanted that the cars are more interconnected, and also that their technologies are used to monitor driving and share it. Because as again, basically, this pay-per-use and share economy will grow faster and faster in any city, also in the CE region.
Any other our guest wants to comment upon this topic? Okay, so we may say that insurance investment in partnerships with the municipality in order to build parking buildings can reduce traffic, pollution, accident, insurance prices, says our listener. We are now heading to the last question of this show, which will be somehow like a conclusion. And we may say that it's clear that the economic environment will remain difficult, especially considering the second wave of the pandemics that unfortunately we are seeing nowadays. We have already witnessed changes in the purchasing behavior of the customers. Can we speak about a change of the system of values? I would like for this an answer from every one of you. Maybe we can start with Medellin.
Now the question is where we should address this question, in the CE or in Romania?
Maybe in the CE and then in Romania.
Now I'll try to avoid it a little bit, and I want to say as following. I think what I perceive is that we are having a lot of regulation and hyper-regulation all over the countries, I would say, especially in Romania. And I think that in the future we have to see a short decrease on this, and give more freedom to the industry. I think you understand why I'm complaining this, because we have many struggles in Romania, many issues, which affects also in the end also the insurance and the partnership and so on and so on. And what I can see in this moment is that we are facing how should I say it in order not to be seen rude, but I will say it blunt in the end. A lack of interest, unfortunately, from the politician to solve the real issues that we have in this moment, and this is tough as citizen first, and then of course as a business, yeah. And I think that, and we need some support, and we need specialists in the right places, because discussing with the people in parliament and trying to explain them what is insurance, what is MTPL, and why is the reason, for example, in MTPL, I think it's just discussion without any logic. And my feeling is that the industry, not the feeling, the wish is that the industry should develop in many other areas, not only in MTPL, because we are discussing all the time about MTPL, about accident, about cars, and so on. We are forgetting to discuss about many other type of coverages in insurance business and how we should develop the industry, and also to offer protection to the clients and to the customers. It's clear that in the end, the technology will have a huge role, and this is for sure. We are seeing a lot of changes in this respect, but nevertheless, we have to push much more our efforts in order to give to the population the protection that they need, and to talk about it as much as we can. And this is my, let's say, insight.
Okay, thank you very much. Christopher?
I think I would say, and I would also comment, that it depends per country and per disposable income. For example, this crisis right now also, let's say, maybe change the the purchasing behavior a little bit. However, in general, we see there is a flight to quality and also to environmental protection. So a lot of people who bought a lot of prestige cars in the past are buying now cars that are environmental friendlier. For example, electric cars, but also cars that save way more gasoline. So the combination of, I think, quality, the safety aspects, so how safe cars are, and the saving that people can do either by insurance premiums, by fuel prices and those things, I think this will define the purchasing behavior in the future.
Thank you. And Burke?
Well, I will answer this question technology-wise, and it's also an answer to the YouTube question also. Well, in my opinion, the systems of values were already changing, but that change was too slow. For most of the customers, price was a decision factor. But after COVID-19, think about this hypothetical situation. Well, 2 cars crashed, hopefully no one harmed, and one insurance company, which sells motor oil damage, 15% less, and asks you to fill the accident report with paper or pencil. And after you fill it, you need to send it to insurance company via post office. Loss adjusters will come, etc., etc. And you ask your customer to wait weeks to get the claims payment. And you want your customer to go physically some places to sign the documents. Other company asks its customers to upload the photos and the videos of the accident through a mobile application, and accident report is filled in 1 or 2 minutes and immediately forwarded to the insurance companies for their evaluation. With the help of image recognition, image processing techniques, the estimated damage amount is calculated, and all process finishes in 1 or 2 days. So which company would you choose? The cheap one? Well, I don't think so. So like you mentioned also, the economic environment will be more difficult. So the insurers do not have the luxury to waste time or money. So what I offer is to digitize your and replace the slow, error-prone, and expensive processes from onboarding process to claims payment. And then you will see that the quality of the service always beats the price.
And in the end of this debate, if we should leave our listener with one conclusion, one thought, what would it be? Madeleine, from your point?
Depends who are our, how should I say, viewers, because the message should be different for the people in the industry and the clients, let's so call it. So now I would say a simple one. We need creativity in this period. We need imagination, and we need to challenge the status quo. This is the how should I say, the survival of this this industry, and in the end, the entire economy. If we will not be creative, and we will try to keep the same thing that we've done in the past during these moments, I think that we are on the wrong path. So as much as we are creative and we are trying to reinvent ourselves, doesn't matter in which area, I think that this is a little bit of the key to the success. The rest, it's up to us, just to be better and different than we were in the past.
Thank you. Bert?
Well, right now we have COVID-19, and the insurance companies, they're facing a time of change. Maybe a couple of years later, it will be another thing. Hopefully it will not. But, there are too many challenges, too many things are coming to the insurance companies. So the conclusion is it's important to adapt those changes, but the most important is the speed of adaptation. So be quick, be fast, and be innovative.
Thank you very much. And Chris?
I would say embrace technology, make use of the data. Don't be afraid, don't be reluctant, because at the end, it will really benefit you being either an insurance company or the customer.
Thank you very much. We had three extraordinary guests today, one of the best specialists in the motor insurance market in Europe. Thank you all for your presence and contribution, and thank you to our viewers for interest and patience and for sending us questions. Also, thank you for Daniela Ghețu for preparing this show, and to all the Xprimm team for their support. Once again, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and to follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook. And of course, don't forget to enter on xprimm.com and download our motor insurance report. Also, we'll have plenty of interesting news in the coming weeks, news events, new countries to visit, new publication to be released. Every week we'll bring something new to you. Don't forget also, because on 18th of November, we will have a very interesting conference on the Georgian insurance market, a market emerging very fast. Stay with us and see you soon. And in the end, I would like to show you again the film launching motor insurance report. Thank you and goodbye.
Empty streets in the usually most crowded cities. One of the most striking images of the lockdown period. But what did they mean for the motor insurance industry? Fighting to maintain customers, financial impact, a more competitive market, or going digital at high speed to allow customers receive best possible services. In short, changes. The 2020 edition of the Motor Insurance Report highlights the motor insurance industry trends from the CE, SEE, and CIS markets perspectives. Interviews, market analysis articles, statistical data for the full year 2019 and the first half of 2020, as well as a short tour in technology world. All condensed in the 48 pages waiting for you online. The report is available starting now in digital format on xprimm.com. Don't miss it!